The opening of the Grand Parkway Segment E is a wonderful time for us to stop and celebrate success. All the vision, the leadership, connecting the dots. We're not here by accident.
There have always been certain people who drive things. Sometimes they're criticized, but in fact, people like Bob Lanier and Ned Holmes from the private sector, driving these kind of things, the Mishers, the Mossbackers, contribute mightily to everybody in the community.
The Grand Parkway is a long story. It started in the 1960s with some planners putting lines on paper. It really got started in the late 80s or mid 80s when Walter Misher, Sr. and Jr. were developing Cinco Ranch, and Bob Lanier was chairman of the Highway Commission.
And we shared this vision. We thought it was really good for the city. We had to fight for it several times.
They could see the value of having this 180-mile ring road, and some communities that have practiced a no-growth philosophy are now faced with gridlock and they can't really find their way out of it. So visionaries like Bob Lanier, like John Lindsay, like Ned Holmes, these visionaries were looking at the value of mobility to the economy.
It started in 1983, of course, when we decided we were going to do the Belt and we were going to do Hardy Toll Road. 1983 was an interesting year. In June of 1983, Metro tried to pass a big issue and it failed 70%. We had our election in September. It was the engineering crowd really that made this work. They convinced the commissioners to hold their nose and not object to it. But anyhow, we passed that issue with 70% of the positive vote, and kind of the rest is history on those projects. The Superbird was to sort out transportation issues.
Well, modesty dictated we name it that. It was the county judge, John Lindsay, myself, and at that time I was chairman of the Highway Commission. And then Mayor Whitmire and John King, who was our chairman of Metro.
The four of us would meet on a monthly basis. It was a breakfast thing. But when you meet with Bob Lanier, it's not just breakfast. Sometimes you go into lunch. It was always a lot of fun. I always enjoyed those. I learned a lot.
And there, the guy I give a lot of credit to is Billy Werge. He's smart, and he sees the essence of something and can get it done without making you mad.
Where's the money going to come from? How are you going to raise it? Can you find the right contractor to go build this?
There have been, again, environmental issues. There have been political issues, communities that have fought the project along the way.
So the concept was developed that in a general sense, everybody knew where the Grand Parkway was going to go, but the specific route it would follow would be determined by who was willing to donate some right-of-way. So the combination of that plus having an ability to donate it and get it back if it wasn't used was really, that was the guts behind the Grand Parkway.
Walt Jr. Got the landowners to dedicate for free the right-of-way, plus pay for a large part of the engineering. And Bob Lanier got the Highway Commission to fund the construction. But that really kind of kicked it off. And then it sat for a very long time.
When I became county judge, that's where it came full circle. Suddenly, the first legislative session in '07, there was a bill giving rights to develop certain highways to the county. This was one of them. So the county took control of the Grand Parkway.
And so I got with Judge Emmett, who was very supportive of the Grand Parkway being done, but not by Harris County. And so an overall agreement was put together between TxDOT and Harris County. And so it was kind of a grand bargain that really is working. I mean, it's really working.
The Grand Parkway is an example where you've got a method of finance through tolls that can pay for that system and allow other resources to go to major thoroughfares, to the freeway systems, the HOV lanes, the transit programs that we need in our community that allow us to do more than we could do under any one funding source or any one transportation mode.
What's tremendous about the Grand Parkway is you have 7 counties that have come together and said, this is a great example of where we want to go as a region.
The timing of the Grand Parkway couldn't be more profound. That's because our region is growing at a dynamic rate, unprecedented in the history of this state.
This new outer loop, as new people are coming into our state and it's growing, allows us to get in front of the kind of growth which we very rarely have a chance to do.
It's amazing what you can do if you have a motive. Motive being North American campus for ExxonMobil.
There's every good reason to believe that we would not have the beautiful Exxon campus without the Grand Parkway.
What I really want the community to understand is that major infrastructure projects are very difficult, they're very contentious, but if we don't move forward as a community to provide the infrastructure that we need, this community will be in trouble.
Recall the conversations about the 610 loop coming through and dividing the city of Bel Air and the controversy that that caused. Today we can't imagine the city without the 610 loop. They'll take it for granted. 50 years from now it will be the 610 loop, it will be I-45.
Well, let's say, well, where's the next one? I mean, let's go another 5 miles out and start another one.
50 years in the future, Texas will continue to grow. We'll probably double our size and population we are today to more than 50 million people. And so we have to be able to address that mobility. And this is a positive step in solving these congestion challenges for the future.
Well, it makes me feel great and honored to be part of that group that did it. You can't do these things by yourself. The ship is a reflection of that. You got to bring people together.
The secret to Grand Parkway is that we had visionary leaders half a century ago that were willing to put a big idea on paper and stand by that idea. And so today we celebrate Segment E, we celebrate Grand Parkway, knowing that our community is richer and better for it, and the future is bright because of the Grand Parkway.